Sharks of the Mangrove Forests. Chapter 2 Mangroves, the Trees of Life. Written by Yana Rainahova. Read by Venkat. After dinner, Anna ran straight into her room and continued to read through the notebook. Where did I stop reading? Oh yeah. Aunty Sheena is explaining the importance of mangroves to Chris. Anna remembered as she started reading. Sheena had written, Chris was very interested to know about the importance of mangroves for the coastal environment, and I was pleased to explain him all about it. I explained the mangroves and the nearby seagrass beds serve as a home and nursery for many species of fish, shrimps, lobsters, crabs, sea snails, and conch in the Bahamian island. A wide variety of organisms utilize mangrove habitats, including many endangered species such as the sawfish, the boa snakes, etc. The mangroves provide both food and protection from predators for the juveniles of these creatures. Wow! Exclaimed Chris. There is more. The mangrove's leaves are eaten by all kinds of creatures, and more importantly, the mangroves protect the island by acting as a natural safeguard against storms and hurricanes, I said. Amazing! It means that we are very lucky to have mangroves growing in the Bahamas, said Chris. He is right. I also told him about how mangrove trees grow and how it takes many years for a seedling to become a big tree. The temperature was around 36 degrees Celsius, and there was a relentless swarm of mosquitoes in the air, trying to bite our bare skin. I thought that it was time for us to go snorkeling underwater. Chris and I got ready to jump into the water with a snorkel, underwater glass mask, and fins for our feet. When we jumped into the water, it was an entirely different world altogether inside the water. The water was very clear. Chris pointed out something to me on his left. We saw hundreds of small, shiny fish swimming. There were a few green turtles that put on an acrobatic performance for us as they graciously swam past. It was an amazing experience. After an hour of snorkeling, we went back to our boat and sailed quickly back to the shore so as to avoid the mosquito swarm. Chris was still talking about how wonderful it was below the sea as I anchored the boat. We walked over the white sands of the beautiful beach. Even though I have walked here many times, I am always fascinated by its beauty. Hello, Sheena, greeted a familiar voice from a distance. It was Eddie, the local Bahamian fisherman. What are you doing here, Eddie? I asked. I'm searching for big conchs, said Eddie. The conchs have a tasty creature living inside them. It is a local Bahamian delicacy. Eddie, like other fishermen, comes here to these mangrove forests to collect conchs to make their living. Chris was listening to the conversation and seemed to be amazed by the amount of organisms that swim, live, and grow in the mangrove forests. His awareness on the importance of the mangroves in the ecosystem was increasing. We bid good day to Eddie and we carried on walking. As we approached the other side of the mangrove forest beach, there was something that did not fit into this green paradise. Just across the lagoon, There were monstrous bulldozers cutting the mangrove trees and polluting the surrounding water with the dirt coming out of the trees being cut and the soil from the uprooted trees. Sheena, what is it? What are they doing? The young Bahamian boy asked me, terrified. I had to tell Chris the sad reality of what was happening in front of our eyes. Chris, these people are cutting down the mangroves so that they can construct a holiday resort near the beach, I said. But don't they know that the mangroves are homes for hundreds of organisms? It is not fair. It is not fair that they destroy the homes of all those sea creatures, Chris said. It is not good, I said. I could see that Chris was upset. He was silent for a while and asked, Sheena, what are the consequences of cutting down these mangrove trees? Let me explain you the sad consequences, Chris, I said. Hundreds of creatures such as different types of fish, sharks, conch, and birds will lose their home. Furthermore, the island and people in the island will be in danger from hurricanes. The water will get polluted and the organisms living in them will die, I said. The water will get polluted and the organisms living in them will die, I said. I do not want any of these things to happen, Sheena. Don't these people know about the consequences of cutting the trees? Chris asked. Well, most of them do not know about the harmful consequences of cutting down the mangrove trees. But some of the people know. But they do not stop it, as they are interested only in the short-term benefits and the money that they will get, I said. After a few seconds of silent thinking, Chris looked at me and said, Sheena, I want to create awareness for the Bahamians to know about the importance of mangroves and the need to protect them. This will make the people realize that we need to conserve, not destroy nature, Chris said. I was happy to hear Chris's thoughts. That was an amazing moment for me. I was very happy to see children being amazed by the beauties of the ocean and for them to understand the need for conservation of the mangrove trees. I know that these children need to be taught to love the sea and its creatures so that they can learn to protect the environment and can continue to inspire more people to do the same. Thanks, Sheena, for explaining me all these things. I've got to leave now. See you tomorrow, Chris said as he ran towards his home, eager to share his adventures with his friends and family. The little Bahamian boy was so amazed by the magic of the mangroves that he decided to organize a mangrove planting event with his schoolmates. They collected buckets and buckets of mangrove seeds and planted many seedlings, which eventually, after many years, will grow into trees, big enough to become home for many creatures. Chris was not aware of how much positive difference he was making to the environment and the community. By planting these mangrove trees, he was planting the trees of life. The other pages of the notebook were either torn or the ink had faded too much to be able to read. Anna felt a strange sense of both happiness and sadness. She was sad that she could not continue reading about Auntie Sheena's adventures, but she also felt very happy that she had climbed up the attic and found this little treasure. This story inspires me to learn more about the sea creatures and the mangroves, Anna thought to herself as she started to fall asleep. A sleep full of sweet dreams of the Bahamian mangroves.